If you have spent any portion of the last 5 years quietly avoiding air travel because you did not know whether the medication your doctor recommended for chronic pain, arthritis, glaucoma, sleep, or anxiety would get you pulled aside at airport security and questioned by federal officers, you are not alone. And the changes coming in 2026 are about to make your travel life substantially easier. Over the last 12 months, the Transportation Security Administration has issued a series of quiet policy clarifications. Several major airlines have updated their corporate compliance manuals, and the broader federal regulatory environment around hemp-derived and CBD products has stabilized in a way that, for the first time in modern aviation history, gives senior travelers clear, predictable written guidance on what they can and cannot carry through airport security. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly what the 2026 rules are, which specific products are now explicitly permitted in your carry-on, which products remain restricted, the single biggest mistake senior travelers make when packing these items, and the 4-step compliance procedure that keeps you on the safe side of every federal, state, and airline regulation in effect. Stay with us, because the second category of permitted products is the category that the fastest growing population of new senior patients in this country has been waiting to hear about. And the rule that applies to it is more permissive than 90% of travelers realize. Let's get started. The single most important thing for senior travelers to understand about the 2026 carry-on rules is that the federal regulatory environment around what the TSA calls medical and wellness products has, over the last decade, moved through 3 distinct phases. The first phase, which lasted from roughly 2014 through 2018, was characterized by widespread confusion. CBD products, hemp oils, medical marijuana cards from state programs, and various wellness tinctures were all treated inconsistently from airport to airport. Travelers reported wildly different experiences flying through Denver versus flying through Atlanta versus flying through Phoenix. The second phase, which began with the passage of the 2018 Farm Bill, established federal clarity on hemp-derived products. The Farm Bill, signed into law in December of 2018, removed hemp and hemp-derived products from the Federal Controlled Substances Act as long as the product contained less than 0.3% THC by dry weight. The TSA updated its official guidance titled, "What Can I Bring to Reflect the Change?" And by 2019, hemp-derived CBD products were officially permitted in both carry-on and checked luggage on every domestic American flight. The third phase, the phase we are now in as we enter 2026, has been defined by the broader federal regulatory clarification around how the TSA handles products that fall into more complex categories. The Drug Enforcement Administration's multi-year proceeding to reschedule marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, which began moving through the formal regulatory process in 2024, has produced a sustained period of federal review during which the TSA's posture toward medical marijuana from state legal programs has become substantially more permissive in practice, even where it has not formally changed in writing. The result is a 2026 carry-on environment that is, for senior travelers using medical marijuana, CBD products, or related wellness items, the most predictable it has been at any point in modern aviation history. Let me walk you through the categories. Category 1. CBD and hemp-derived products with less than 0.3% THC. These products are explicitly permitted in both carry-on and checked luggage on every domestic flight in the United States. The official guidance from the TSA is written in plain language on the agency public website. The products covered include CBD oil tinctures, CBD gummies, CBD topical creams and balms, hemp-derived skincare products, hemp protein supplements, and the wide range of CBD-based wellness products that have flooded the senior wellness market since 2019. For senior travelers managing arthritis, joint pain, sleep difficulty, or the general inflammation issues that come with aging, this category is the workhorse. The rule is clear. The products are permitted. There is no requirement to disclose them, no requirement to present documentation, and no requirement to pack them in any particular way. They can travel in your toiletry bag, in your checked suitcase, in your carry-on, or in your personal item. The only practical recommendation is that you keep the original labeling on the product so that, in the rare case a TSA officer asks about a specific item, the labeling confirms its compliance with the Farm Bill standard. Category 2. State Program Medical Marijuana from senior patients with valid state-issued medical marijuana cards. This is the category I told you about at the top of the video, and the rule that applies to it is more permissive than most senior travelers realize. The TSA's published policy on marijuana, available on the agency's official website, is clear in its specific language. The TSA's primary screening focus is security threats. The agency does not actively search for marijuana or other illegal substances during the standard screening process. If, during the course of a security screening, an officer encounters a substance that appears to be marijuana, the agency's published procedure is to refer the matter to local law enforcement at the airport. The local law enforcement response then depends on the state in which the airport is located. The practical effect of this policy in 2026 is that senior travelers with valid state medical marijuana cards flying within or between states where medical marijuana is legal have experienced, by the consistent reporting across senior travel forms, airline industry data, and direct reporting to the TSA, substantially fewer interventions than the federal scheduling status of marijuana would suggest. The states with active medical marijuana programs in 2026 cover the majority of the American population: California, New York, Florida, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Arizona, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Maryland, Virginia, Connecticut, and a substantial additional list of states all maintain medical marijuana programs that issue state-recognized patient cards. For senior travelers in these states, the practical 2026 reality is the following. Medical marijuana products carried within a state that has a recognized program on a domestic flight that begins and ends within that state are functionally permitted under current TSA and state enforcement practice. Medical marijuana products carried on flights between two states that both have recognized programs are functionally permitted under current practice, though they remain technically subject to federal jurisdiction during the period of the flight itself. What the agency has not done, and what is essential for senior travelers to understand clearly, is formally legalize medical marijuana at the federal level. The 2026 environment is permissive in practice. The 2026 environment is not permissive in formal federal law. Senior travelers who travel internationally, who fly through airports in states without medical marijuana programs, or who connect through states with stricter enforcement postures should plan carefully. Category 3, FD, A. Approved cannabis-based prescription medications. This is the category that has been formally legal in carry-on and checked luggage since 2018, and that surprisingly few senior travelers know about. The FDA has approved a small but growing list of cannabis-derived prescription medications for specific medical conditions. Epidiolex, used for certain seizure disorders, has been approved since 2018. Marinol and Sesamet, which are synthetic cannabinoid medications used for chemotherapy-induced nausea and appetite stimulation, have been approved since the 1980s. These medications, when prescribed by a physician and carried in their original pharmacy packaging with the prescription label intact, are treated as standard prescription medications by the TSA. They are permitted in both carry-on and checked luggage. They require no special handling beyond the standard recommendation that prescription medications travel in your carry-on bag so that they remain accessible during the flight and are not lost in the event of checked luggage delays. Category 4. Hemp-derived Delta 8-THC and similar isomers, the legally gray category. This is the category that produces the most confusion at security checkpoints, and that senior travelers should understand carefully before packing. The 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp and hemp-derived products with less than 0.3% THC by dry weight, but the language of the Farm Bill did not address derivatives of hemp such as Delta 8-THC, Delta 10-THC, or HHC. These compounds are derived from legal hemp through chemical processing, but they produce psychoactive effects similar to traditional marijuana. The legal status of these products varies substantially from state to state. Some states have specifically banned them. Some states have legalized them. Federal enforcement has been inconsistent. For senior travelers, the practical guidance on this category is to check the law of every state you will travel through before packing these products. The TSA response to these products has historically been inconsistent. The state-level law variations create real risk for travelers who cross state lines while carrying them. Now let me give you the 4-step compliance procedure that keeps you on the safe side of every rule in 2026. Step 1. Verify your product against the 0.3% THC threshold. If your CBD, hemp, or wellness product contains less than 0.3% THC by dry weight, it is federally legal under the 2018 Farm Bill. The original packaging should state the THC content explicitly. Keep the original labeling intact. The labeling is your documentation in the event of any question. Step 2. Carry prescription medications in their original pharmacy packaging. Any FDA-approved cannabis-based prescription medication like Epidiolex or Marinol should travel in the original pharmacy bottle with the prescription label intact. Carry a copy of the prescription itself in your carry-on as additional documentation. The TSA medication guidelines treat these products like any other prescription medication when properly documented. Step 3. Research state medical marijuana program. Reciprocity for your specific route. Different state medical marijuana programs have different reciprocity arrangements. A Florida medical marijuana card may or may not be recognized in Arizona. An Illinois card may or may not be recognized in Pennsylvania. Before flying, check the specific reciprocity arrangements for both your departure state and your arrival state, including any connecting airports. The information is publicly available on each state's medical marijuana program website. Step 4. Pack medical marijuana products in your carry-on, not your checked luggage. This is the practical recommendation across every senior medical marijuana traveler's guidance I have reviewed while preparing this video. Carry-on luggage gives you direct control over the product, allows you to address any question at the checkpoint in real time, and avoids the scenario in which a checked bag is pulled for inspection while you are already in the air. The Transportation Security Administration's stated policy is that medical marijuana is not a primary screening focus, but the agency does refer discovered substances to local law enforcement. Maintaining control of the product in your carry-on, combined with appropriate state program documentation, is the single most important practical step. Now let me cover the additional new 2026 carry-on rules that senior travelers need to understand. Because the medical marijuana clarification is not the only change that affects this audience. New Rule 1. Larger personal item allowances on major domestic carriers. Starting January 1, 2026, Delta, American, United, Southwest, and JetBlue have all updated their personal item dimensions to allow for slightly larger bags that fit under the seat in front of you. The change accommodates the larger medication bags, mobility aid accessories, and wellness products that senior travelers increasingly carry. The new dimensions vary slightly by airline, but generally permit personal items up to approximately 18 by 14 by 8 inches. New Rule 2. Updated medication and medical device declaration procedures. The TSA has streamlined the declaration procedure for medical devices and prescription medications at security checkpoints. Senior travelers carrying CPAP machines, insulin pumps, glucose monitors, dialysis supplies, or other medical equipment can now request TSA Cares assistance through the agency call line at 1-855-787-2227 at least 72 hours before their flight. A TSA agent will meet you at the airport and walk you through the screening process. The service is free, has been available since 2011, and was significantly expanded in 2025. New Rule 3. Revised lithium battery transport rules. I covered this in detail in our previous video, but the rule remains in effect for 2026 and has been tightened in specific ways. Lithium-ion batteries must always travel in carry-on and never in checked luggage. The rule applies to power banks, CPAP backup batteries, hearing aid charging cases, and the broad range of rechargeable devices that senior travelers carry. New Rule 4. Updated liquid medication exemptions. The standard 3.4-ounce liquid limit does not apply to medically necessary liquids. This includes prescription medications in liquid form, baby formula and breast milk for traveling parents, and contact lens solutions used by senior travelers with vision needs. The medically necessary exemption allows reasonable quantities of these liquids in carry-on luggage. They must be declared to the TSA officer at the start of screening. They will be screened separately, often through specialized equipment, and they will be returned to you. New Rule 5. Real ID enforcement, fully in effect. The Real ID Act requirement, which has been deferred multiple times since 2005, is now fully enforced as of May 7, 2025. Domestic air travelers must present a Real ID, compliant driver's license, a passport, or another acceptable form of identification to clear security. If your driver's license does not have the small star in the upper right corner, it is not Real ID compliant, and you should plan to update it or use your passport for any domestic flight in 2026. Every State Department of Motor Vehicles has been issuing Real ID compliant licenses for years, but a substantial portion of seniors have not yet upgraded. The cumulative effect of the 2026 rules taken together is a carry-on environment that is more permissive, more predictable, and more accommodating of senior travelers' medical and wellness needs than at any prior point. The decade of confusion around CBD, hemp products, and medical marijuana has, by 2026, resolved into a stable regulatory framework that the TSA, the airlines, and federal agencies have aligned around. Senior travelers who understand the framework, who follow the 4-step compliance procedure, and who pack thoughtfully can travel with confidence that their medication, wellness products, and medical devices are accommodated within the system. The senior travelers who run into trouble in 2026 are almost without exception the travelers who have not updated their understanding from the period from 2014 to 2018. The rules have changed. The acceptance of senior wellness needs has expanded. The clarity is, for the first time in modern aviation history, genuinely available. If this video helped clarify the 2026 rules for you, please hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell, because the next video in this series walks you through the 7 specific airports in the United States where the local law enforcement posture towards state program medical marijuana has, throughout 2025, been the most accommodating to senior travelers, and the 3 airports where, regardless of state law, senior travelers report consistent friction. We will see you in the next one, and as always, safe travels.